Hey, congratulations on your new film, Land of Bad.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I know you know what? This is a terrific movie and I have to say for some odd unknown reason I have watched every single movie you directed except I want to say your very first one was
Okay, love.
Love.
Yeah.
But it is very fact this one is entirely different from the movies that you ha have done before. So tell us where the original idea came from for Land of Bad.
We actually wrote this while I was writing The Signal. We were so like David and I were working on that, and I was kind of worried at the time, oh man, The Signal's too weird. I'll never get another job. And so I wanted to make more of a sort of a 90s action thriller type thing. And just something that really sort of went, you know, chaotic and crazy and um really sort of had a ticking clock in it, just something that I don't know about movies that I loved watching back when. So it's interesting because the movie basically was written a long time ago. And then as I started working more, it's like you're always trying to find time to do your own projects and things like that. And we finally, years later, after, you know, crazy schedules and whatnot, we're able to finally find the time to do this one.
Which is actually amazing is because by the way, Signal is great because it's so mesmerizing
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
as a sci-fi storytelling. But you worked on grand sets, like The Signal had a grand set, Underwater had a grand set, Paranormal Activity had its own environment. Tell us about working in this environment for Land of Bad because I want to say you moved across different type of production sets, the forest, the mansion, even a military base. I mean, that's
Yeah.
quite an effort.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I really like I'm a huge fan of Ridley Scott's. Like you can kind of see it in Underwater, and I'm a huge fan of how if you like flip through one of his movies, if you were to turn it into a flip book, you'll see all these colors and spaces, and they don't feel like one color. Like when you flip through Alien, you'll see like the white warm room that is the computer mother, and you'll see like the cold dark hallways, and then you'll have the breakfast room. So I'm always a big fan of trying to find places you don't want your film to feel like one thing, and that's always the scare with making a jungle movie is like the whole movie just is green and blue. Um, so I really wanted to work hard to, spread the color palette out, do different locations, have interesting like, you know, boss hideouts, much like playing a video game, you want to constantly do something new and interesting and change. I call it eye fatigue. Like when you've just watched a jungle for so I honestly, even in Underwater, I'm always like when they finally get out of the water into one of the depressurization chambers, um, I'm like my eyes are like so fatigued from underwater. I'm like, oh my God, thank God, a different color. So it's just part of like what I want when I'm like making a movie. You want to show the audience something new and change it up enough that you're constantly like moving somewhere.
Well, tell us about the jungle that you did actually choose as a location. Obviously, you can't film in the South Philippines.
No, yeah, it's tough. Obviously, a lot of people don't really know this about Australia, but the whole top of Australia, well, a lot of people probably do, but is totally covered in jungle, like dense rainforest jungle, basically. And you don't really want to shoot there because it's very difficult, and there's a lot of crocodiles and numerous things that will kill you. So you want to just get right below Brisbane where the crocodiles kind of stop. And then what you find is there's little pockets of amazing jungle that have just come out of nowhere. They'll be like in a box canyon or, up on this hillside. So there's constantly trying to find the different ones of those and then, moving the production around to take advantage of these different amazing locations. And because at the time the dollar was kind of strong against the Australian dollar, everybody and their mom was down there shooting. So we were like dancing around King Kong and it was wild. Like everything was being shot in Australia at that time. Like there was like I think Captain Nemo, something happened with Disney. I don't know. It was so crazy. You couldn't go, you would like go around a tree and there's like a whole nother film set. So it was a wild time to be shooting down there, but we had a lot of fun.
It sounded like a crowded jungle.
It
You,
was, it
you,
really was. The
you,
best was like always like walking, like stumbling upon like a King Kong set. And you're like, there's like a giant like footprint in the ground or something, and you're like, oh my God, guys, like we can't we can't shoot here. Yeah, it was funny. It was really funny. But
what was it? Did you have to build some productions? I imagine you probably had to do it for like underground bunkers on the stage or something like that.
exactly. Now, because everyone was down there, we had to shoot all of our stage space. We shot it at a horse racetrack. Like in there, like under their bleachers. It was the craziest thing I've ever done. I'm like, we're shooting like these tunnels and like building these sets under these horse race bleachers. And I'm like, so of course we couldn't shoot on days that there's horse races. So like it was so wild. Like this is low budget blues to a certain degree. But we survived and we made it. And thank God they were there because we couldn't find anywhere. We were like, I remember at one point, like they took me to like a old KFC or something, and they're like, "Could we build a set in here?" And I'm like, we're not building a set in the old closed KFC. Like, what are you talking about?" So it was great. We were literally trying to find where we were going to shoot this movie. Thank goodness we did end up finding that event space at the horse race track, but it was very complicated, let me tell you.
Now, I admire your directing. I also admire your cinematography, but I have to say that this film is great. It's because, you're channeling your Ridley Scott. I need to know how you pulled off these Call of Duty type of scenes. I mean,
Oh gosh.
the bullets, everything is just amazing. I mean, it's just eye-popping.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's really fun. Like, my editor Todd Miller is such an artist himself, so it's kind of just about feeding him with tons of great stuff. He worked on like Con Air, and I'm pretty sure he worked on The Rock as like an assistant, and he's done so many great '90s action thrillers that it was fun. It was just really feeding him all the footage and really a lot of the time, like a lot of the slow motion, you're trying to sort of get into the character's mindset because it's tough to show focus or, show, impact. But by doing it through slow motion and introducing what I think Ridley calls like the fourth or fifth dimension, where you'll have dust and, stuff flying through, or wind or whatever it is that you kind of don't see or think of right away, but it adds so much cinematic appeal and shine. Constantly just trying to think of ways to amplify that and to keep the heart pounding, rhythm going. It's like music, you're just trying to keep the rhythm going and then take a breather when times are necessary and then ratchet it back up and go with it.
I mean, I do have to admit, you utilize everything very well, edited very well.
Thank you.
Not to mention, plenty of drones, literally drone shots.
Yeah, tons of drones. Yeah, that was kind of my secret. Well, one, we needed drones for helping like fulfill that side of the story, but so I tried to keep using that as an excuse to the line producer, like, oh, we absolutely have to have a drone because it's a drone movie and we got to get that viewpoint. Secretly, I was just trying to get big sweeping shots, like pushing back and forth. I wasn't really telling them what I was doing. I'm just like, we gotta have it. We gotta have it. So it was a fun endeavor, but yeah, there's nothing more fun than having some action coming this way, and then you have your drone going that way, and they just whoosh, pass each other. So
Now, Will, how do you handle because your two biggest stars in this film, Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth, they, it's almost felt like you filmed them like two separate movies. They never even got. They never even got to meet. Probably.
right, yeah. That's kind of the rub of it. But it was really cool. Like we did have a drone shooting above every scene in infrared, just hovering there. So for Russell's point of view. And then what we had done was we'd done all these read-throughs of the script with Liam and Russell because they're kind of doing the two-hander. And we worked out, tried to work out any changes that could occur. Then we go shoot all the action with Liam. Then we go back and we shoot all the bits with Russell. But then while we're shooting those bits with Russell, Liam is a couple of rooms down on, comms, actually in Russell's ear. And then Russell has in front of him the action that we shot from that infrared drone. Obviously there's like crew and cameras in there, but at least he can see like what was happening and kind of understand the actual perspective of the moment. So it was really cool what the art department had thrown together to make that possible and sound. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. And then if we ever found something that needed to be changed, there's plenty to cut around to like change dialogue or do what we had to do to make the story right.
Absolutely. And one last thing, Will, because you done Signal, you done Underwater, you done Paranormal Activity, Land of the Bad. How how do you as a director not get stuck in a specific genre? I mean, that is an achievement for
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate
a
that.
director to go, sci-fi, horror, all these different things into action, like Land of
Yeah,
Bad.
yeah. I hope to keep doing different genres. There's a couple, believe it or not, there's a couple comedy things that I want to try to do. I have my fantasy movie World Breaker that I really want to eventually do. Maybe that could be with Russell, who knows. Yeah, I just want to, I don't really have a career as a commercial filmmaker. I guess I wish I did so I could, have something to do in between movies. But I just love doing something new. I really, really, as an audience member, I love seeing new things. I love, whether it's going to see Dune and seeing all the new imaginative stuff in there, or, I love seeing new stuff. And so from a storytelling standpoint, I love telling something that's going to be new for myself so I can learn about it or, try to find a different way to tell a story. It's just always invigorating and exciting. Like Paranormal Activity, it was so much fun using the little cameras and trying to tell a story in a different way and long takes and just letting the actors go. And I don't know, I'm so fortunate and I hope I get to keep doing it and doing different things.
I think that is terrific. And just for shits and giggles, what was your favorite college basketball team?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I mean, I guess I gotta go with the Vols on this one, just just in support of the guys. So oh man. There's a lot of Michigan people who would probably kill me. That's a March Madness is a wild one. Lots of strong opinions there. So
And I know.
I actually went to UCLA, so I guess I should say UCLA, but for land of battle, I'll say the Vols.
I know. I was gonna say those guys in that room sure love their game.
Yeah. It's really the interesting thing is it really is like that because those drone operators are so compartmentalized that when you're in the break room, they're coming off missions or they really, all the guys really do find, a way to disconnect and enjoy themselves when they're not, working per se. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun getting into that, fun peering into that world and, someday probably do something that hopefully takes me even further, but we'll see.
We will see. Thank you very much, Will. Really appreciate this conversation.
Appreciate it, Gig.
Everyone definitely should check it out. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.